Hello, everyone. Hope you're all well. So, this one's quite personal, but I think it's something that a lot of people will be able to resonate with, and that's one reason I'm making it. Please feel free, as always, to share your thoughts, and I'll try and get back to them. Um, I want to talk about getting ahead in this world. Now, I guess the first sort of question around this is what is success? I mean, what do we as human beings define as success? I think someone who has a well-paid job and who outwardly seem to be successful in a superficial way, and it is superficial to some extent. It's a cliche, right? They have a well-paid job, they have a stable marriage, they are or a stable relationship. They're comfortable. They're a leader of sorts. That sort of person will be deemed to be successful. I don't think anyone could deny that that is a sort of universal concept of success. And there's varying scales, of course. Success varies within particular fields. For a politician, success is on winning elections and sort of gravitas he or she has with the people that they represent. Politics, of course, is one of the hardest professions because constant um, task to be in touch with public opinion, to justify your policies, to carry through policies. It's immensely difficult, and of course, there's constant press scrutiny. Um, Success as a journalist. I mean, I've trained as a journalist would probably be someone who is in demand from editors, someone who has a lot of copy published um, in the industry that is basically reports and articles. So they have something to go on and they start becoming a name within the industry. It's always said that reporters shouldn't become the story, but the top reporters are famous in their own right. Um, Writers, that goes without success. If you're a bestseller, you're successful. Sport, again, is pretty straightforward. You're a boxer, you win fights. You are a wrestler, you become the biggest draw. You are the biggest face, the biggest heel, musician, record sales. It's all about numbers. It's all about how you resonate with the wider public. Now, I think there are people who are very, very happy to not be recognized and they're just happy in of themselves. And I wish them all the best. I can understand that. And sometimes, honestly, I think that would be a comfortable, nice life. Because if you're not that ambitious, if you're sort of comfortable with what you've got, you can have inner peace. Ambition it's a strange old thing because it can be a good thing. It can motivate us. It can make us want to reach the top for ourselves, perhaps also for wider society. If you want to make changes in society, that sort of ambition is benevolent. So I don't think ambition is solely a selfish thing. I've never believed that. Um, but at the same time, it is so hard to get to the top of almost any industry. Some might be easier than others, but pretty much every industry, every field in life, to get to the top or even do well, maybe not the very top, but let's say the upper middle levels, um, it can be a real struggle. Now, I have this contradiction in that I'm a very ambitious guy. I have a great vision of what I want to do in my life. It's very personal, so I don't want to go into all the details here. And one reason is because if it never carries out, I'm just not comfortable, opening up to that extent. Who knows? One day, maybe I will be a motivational speaker and I'll be able to tell people about mistakes I made and, what you can do and how you could go far and so on. But that day is some time off yet. I've had breaks in life, insofar as I've had opportunities that I'm enormously grateful for, and I'm very pleased that I've done those things. When I taught in China twice, that was a very rewarding experience, and no one can ever take that away from me. I know that I changed young lives. Um, I know that I influenced people. I had hundreds of students. It was a very positive experience overall. I'm not saying it was all smooth. I'm not saying it was without problems, but overall, I consider my two China trips to be a positive life experience. Getting into the boxing ring for a charity fight 8 years ago, I lost the fight, but doing it was definitely worthwhile. But the truth is, I have had quite a lot of disappointment in life as well, and I'm always wary of saying this because I don't like self-pity. I don't think it's productive. Um, and I always know, I always put the caveat in my own mind that there's always, always, always someone in a worse position. Always. So there's plenty of things I need to be grateful for. My health is reasonably good, although my sleeping structure's a bit off. I've got two arms, two legs. I've no debilitating disease. I've no disability. I've no um, I live in a relatively safe area. There's a lot of things that I can look at that are good. I have had a lot of disappointments, and when you get a string of them in a row, it can be quite mentally draining, because you feel, well, okay, I want to get to this level. I want to get to this ambition. How do I get there? There's a path to go down. So I have to do this, I have to do that, A, B, C, D. Um, and when you get rejected over small things, it can be quite draining because you think, well, you start to question yourself. You think, what am I doing wrong here? Or you also, and this is being totally honest, you do get frustrated. You get even angry at the way things work. So, for example, companies that I have applied to, and they haven't bothered saying why they're rejecting me. To me, that's just disrespectful. It's just wasting my time. Now, I understand that they probably get thousands of applications, and probably for practical reasons, they can't give a reason to each and every person, but it is still draining. And if I ever ran a company, I would do things differently. Um, but that's hindsight, of course, isn't it? I could say, I'll do this differently, I'll do this differently. I don't know. I would like to think that I would, knowing what this is like, I would try and give people a break. I would try and give people as many opportunities as reasonably possible. I wouldn't box tick. I wouldn't give them, if I was a big CEO, I wouldn't give people jobs just like charity. Obviously, I would want it to be merit based. But I would definitely, as a CEO, much prefer hiring people than firing people, put it that way. Um, the truth is, it's quite demanding world out there. This modern world is, especially as the human population is getting bigger, we'll be hitting 8 billion by about May, and it just seems that there is so much competition for everything. Now, the jobs market is always part of this, but when you know that you're experiencing something and you know that you're good at something and you're still rejected, it's quite hard to handle. That recently happened with a teaching platform. I don't know what is quite going on with that. I've just checked my emails and they've said that I can reapply. I'm in two minds whether to do that. So it's good I can reapply, but is it just going to be the same situation again? Um, when I got rejected from the Navy, that was a big blow because I'd invested a lot of time in that. And it was always going to be a secondary job. I was going to be a reservist. But again, 5 months. Um, they gave me this nice big blue folder. I don't know what to do with it. I don't want to give it away because it's nice. It's a leather bound folder and probably not real leather, but it looks nice and not something I just want to put in a charity shop. But it's just empty. What do I do with it? It was supposed to be of my naval career. Um, and I just find that, you try and you try and you try, you apply to things, you get rejections. Now, I'd be lying if I said that, I was working hours every day applying to job after job after job. I don't do that. I would be lying if I said I did. And that's the other side of this. Sometimes when you get a lot of disappointment, it does kill your motivation. I don't want to see it as being lazy because I'm always productive in some way. I never feel bored. I never feel lazy. I'm always doing something that's productive in some sense. But is it always the most productive thing? Maybe not. Maybe not. Um, but I just want to know from my subscribers what's your thoughts on this. Let me know about big disappointment that you had in life, because I think when you get a string of them, it's mentally draining. Because you do start questioning, well, what's the point? It's always going to be like this. I'm putting this time and energy into something only to be rejected. And probably that's the wrong way to think, because like you could have four rejections and then give up. It might be that the fifth time you were actually going to get it, but you will never know because you've given up. And I try to tell myself that I sometimes, it's one thing I struggle with sometimes is motivation. And that's being totally candid. And I know the things that I want to do in life. I'm a very ambitious guy. So this is something I need to work at, you know, not let disappointment get me down. Um, I mean, I'm tough, I move on, but they will prey on my mind to the point where it does hurt motivation. Um, but it is so difficult to get into anything. You could get a basic job and that's okay. It might pay the bills, but in terms of ambition, it's genuinely hard to make a mark in any walk of life. A very, very, very small number of people actually make their mark in more than one area of life, and that's I can't help but respect that. Off the top of my head, Arnold Schwarzenegger. I mean, he was a renowned bodybuilder. He then became a renowned action actor. Um, he then became a prominent politician. Very few people manage to do all those things. Manny Pacquiao, world champion boxer, it's what he's primarily known for. But in the Philippines now, he's a politician and he's running for president. So anyone that you know tries their hand at different walks of life, that gets my respect, and it's something I try to do. But I think you also need to be focused on one area, because if you just like kind of, I guess, what's the word? If you just sample each area rather than really, really getting into them, you're not going to really go anywhere. So it also takes dedication. There's a lot of disciplines that I know what my strengths are. I know what my weaknesses are. My strength is I've got great vision. I have great plans and ideas. I'm intelligent. Um, and I can be hardworking when I put my mind down to something. Paradoxically, I can also have problems with motivation. Um, and I've had a history of clinical depression, and that can definitely do it as well. So, yeah, it's just something that I think is a challenge for a lot of people. I know I'm not unique here, but it is very frustrating when you just feel, what do I have to do to get ahead here? It's not even about, oh, I want to be famous overnight, but just getting some sense of stability and success. Just something, something is happening. For me, I've had a string of disappointments. I had the Navy thing. I had my experience on eHarmony, which I mentioned to you guys. And I've had a string of smaller things. The teaching platform got rejected from recently. Another one recently was I submitted an application to Screen Rant, the film website online, because they were actively looking for writers. No response. I wrote up a film review. I thought it was very well done, but just nothing. No response. It's draining. Because you think, when is this going to happen? And work coaches and people who would sort of life coaches, people like that would say, well, you need to look at how you're doing things to stand out. But I've taken some of that advice. I've looked at what pitches to make and so on, and you still end up getting rejected. I think sometimes it is just numbers. It's not necessarily that people aren't a good candidate. It's just numbers. There is, um, you know, only one person could be chosen, something like that. Um, I just hope that one day, if I'm a successful guy, if I'm some big CEO or something, I just hope that I can change lives. I don't want it to just be a profit-making endeavor. Of course, I'll be part of it, but I want to change lives. I want to know that I'm giving people opportunities, as well. If I ever get my break, I want to give others those opportunities. But anyway, not to be too cynical. You can't let yourself go crazy with these things. It is very frustrating, and I don't like the way some companies operate, the way they leave people in the dark. I think if someone specifically asked for a reason why they were rejected, in order to improve, I think they should give that. That's my own opinion, but people will say, well, they don't have the time to do it, but if they're expecting people to invest time into working for them, then how hard is it to give a one sentence response? We are sorry, but you did not have quite what we were looking for in terms of whatever. I'd much sooner accept that than just nothing. That's just me. Maybe other people would think differently. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Let me know specifically about disappointments that you've had in life. How did you deal with them? What were the circumstances? And did you experience something similar again? And on a more positive note, what were the big breaks that you got? What were the good things that happened? I don't want to be too cynical here. I have also had good opportunities that other people haven't had that I am very grateful for. That were great, that were happy memories. So it's not all bad. Let me know your thoughts.